What is going on, everybody? So, before we get into the Packers playoff game, which will come right after this video, this is going to be up for a short time, and then the playoff game will be up here in a few minutes. I thought we'd go over the statistics for the year, think over that in the last video, the last week of the season. So let's get up there, let's do the stats. So Kirk Bray, great rookie season. 2,540 yards, 14 touchdowns, 11 picks. I think he performed really well. Good completion percentage, good yards per attempt. Now, the sack numbers are just absolutely ridiculous, but that's Madden. But really good rookie season. I know he's only a normal dev, but hopefully maybe he goes up to start next year. You can see Garoppolo, 10 touchdowns, 10 picks, and he definitely outperformed Garoppolo. That's why he kept the job. Even with a couple bad games that got his picks up to 11, he was really good. And Kirk Bray is definitely here to stay for sure. Now, DeAndre Swift is just... I mean, what more can you say about him? The last two games of the season, over 120 yards, outstanding. 114 broken tackles this year. So another fantastic season for DeAndre Swift. As you can see, overdoes the yards he had last year. Better season, and not really on that many more carries. Just 11 carries, more touchdowns, fumble number down. That is always good to see. I mean, and we have him under contract for, another 5 years after this. He's young. I think he is going to be the guy going forward who's going to be the mainstay of this team. There's no doubt about that. Jamal Williams, 437 yards on the season, 6 touchdowns, solid season. I like to see him come back too. I like that little 1-2 punch. We'll see what happens. You never know, free agency, draft. There's somebody else you possibly could have picked up. Jamison Williams, 87 grabs, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, over 1,000 yards as well, 8 touchdowns. I mean, not too bad. Ridley comes short of 1,000 yards, so we almost 3 receivers over 1,000. Now, granted, it's not like we're spreading the ball around too much. Hawkinson has a down year. Will he come back? I'm not sure. But you can see after DeAndre Swift, Quintez Cephas only has 8 catches. I'd love to get more receivers involved. It's just tough. It really is. So, I don't know. I like those 3 guys on the field. It's just tough to get other receivers involved. Devin Bush is going to lead us in total tackles. Malcolm Rodriguez right there at number 2. McDougal, 105 total tackles for a rookie. Safety, we'll see. We'll see where he ends up as Defensive Rookie of the Year, which we'll have to look at later because they do that, Super Bowl. But Aiden Hutchinson, 20 sacks on the season. What more can you say about this guy? You got Swift on offense, you got Hutchinson on defense, and that's what it's becoming right now. And it's all sort of coming together here in year number 2. We'll see how far we can get. This Packers game is going to be really insane, but we'll see what happens. Monty Aurier with 9 picks on the season. He is a superstar developed. So right now we got mid-zone KO on him. These obviously can change. Might change him up. I got short route KO on the other one. I think that's good for now. I think that's where we will keep it. And hopefully he isn't him and Okudah. I want to re-sign both of them. And when you give 2 corners probably some massive contracts, we'll see how the cap numbers work out. Because Okudah's got 7 picks on the season. McDougal with 6. But yeah, it's really, I know the contracts in this game sometimes are a little kind of unrealistic. A corner puts up 9 picks on the season, he's going to want a lot of money. Corner is a huge part of the NFL nowadays. I don't know. Can I re-sign both of those guys with massive deals? I may, I didn't do it last season, but I'm thinking of possibly making this a little bit more difficult and actually looking at real life NFL contracts and, seeing what guys would probably ask for. I think that's a real possibility because I think sometimes in these games, it's really easy to manage your cap. With some of the contracts these guys sign, it's just, they're not going to sign these deals. So I think maybe that's a possibility. Makes it a little bit more interesting because you have to really build your team year after year, and some guys are going to leave and you just can't re-sign them. And I think that's an interesting aspect that I might look at this offseason. Let me know what you guys think. There's a good possibility that I do that. As for statistics for the league leaders, I should say, Joe Burrow, I believe that is the most passing yards in NFL history, I think. So Joe Burrow breaks that record, but look how many you got. Mahomes and Jones over 5,000 yards. Allen was close. Look at Sam Darnold. What a season for Sam Darnold. Bucks, we'll see what they do here in these playoffs. But, I mean, I think they take on the Saints, right? They take on the Saints, so that'll be an interesting game. You know, division teams that know each other. Same thing with us. So those are always the toughest, I would say, playoff games, especially facing an opponent for the third time. George Sheldon, great rookie year for him. 37 touchdowns. Leading this Colts to a playoff game against the Titans. Ross Mitchell is the other rookie quarterback I wanted to see. 32 touchdowns for him. Actually, what is his development? I have to see what this is because he was hidden. He's a star. Star development. So maybe the Giants have their quarterback of the future. It looks like they do. Obviously, no more Daniel Jones. They just missed out in the playoffs. So maybe next year they'll be ready to go. Burrow leads with 47 touchdowns. A lot of guys in the 40s. Man, look how many guys had 40 touchdowns passing. The statistics, I'd have to say, are a little crazy. I mean, looking at these passing numbers, we'll see the rushing stats here in a second. I mean, Henry, the yards I could see. I mean, he had way more carries than anybody else. So Derrick Henry wins the rushing title. Aaron Jones, Najee Harris, there's Jonathan Taylor. Swift, so we're right there. You know, top 5 in rushing with DeAndre Swift. He is definitely, easily, a top 5 running back in this league. He has definitely proved it. But yeah, 22 touchdowns, 21 for Jonathan Taylor, 20 for Kamara, Singletary with 20. I don't know. This is a lot of rushing touchdowns. It's a lot. I mean, a lot of rushing touchdowns. I mean, we had 114. We led the league in broken tackles and yak. I mean, that's crazy. 802 yards of yak. You can see we're right there, number 2 in the longest run of the season, Jonathan Taylor. Look at Deebo Samuel. He had 6 touchdowns rushing. So Deebo getting involved with the offense, obviously. Receiving-wise, Chris Godwin's going to lead the league in catches. Boyd right behind him. Pretty much every name you can think of. Odell Beckham having kind of a career revival. Christian Kirk, good season, but most of these guys, Kupp, Diggs, I mean, Sutton's up there. That's pretty good. Same with receiving. Cooper Kupp leads the league in receiving yards. Yeah, Jefferson, Robert Woods, OBJ, Tyreek Hill up there, Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, Jamar Chase. Guys you would expect to see up there. I mean, Sterling, Sharp, I mean, Edwards, Justin Ross. Maybe guys you wouldn't think of there, but very good seasons. As for touchdowns, Cooper Kupp with 21. So just falls short of the Randy Moss touchdown record. So he was right there. He was close. Just couldn't get the job done. Lazard up there with 15. DJ Shark with 14. He obviously left us. Yeah, Kirk with a very good season. Thielen with 13 touchdowns. Amari Cooper. Jonathan Taylor had 11 receiving touchdowns as well. Man, that might be an MVP season. He had an outstanding rushing stats and throwing 11 receiving touchdowns. Yeah, that's probably an MVP season. You would think. Fred Warner's going to lead the league in tackles. Let's see where we are here with Devin Bush. We're right down the list. Top 10. Top 10 in total tackles. Can't complain there. We would have led the league with Aiden Hutchinson, but for some reason I guess he just didn't qualify. I guess that's the thing. But he would have been in the league there. As for sacks, you can see the sack numbers are just absolutely craziness every year. Hutchinson would have been right up there, but these guys are just putting up some crazy, crazy sack numbers. Almost breaking the record, it seems like, every year. But Watt broke it the previous year. So, I mean, Bosa was right there the other year, so this is crazy. Corey Stinson, though, looks like the Bears have a top corner. So he's now a superstar dev, 86 overall, 6 picks on the season. So we got Jair Alexander with Green Bay. Now Corey Stinson with Chicago. So really good corners. See Byron Murphy with 6 as well. So we have some tough competition in this division. I still think the Bears will be better. We'll see what they do in free agency in the draft. Obviously, they lost the 7 straight games at the end of the season. I think they'll be good. Depending what happens with Aaron Rodgers' future, the Bears could be on the uprise. Packers, who knows? We'll see what happens. But this division is going to be tough no matter what. Vikings looking really good. Probably the hottest team in football right now coming into this playoffs. So who knows? This is a tough division going forward. Let's look at some team stats. So offensively, we're down near the list. 27th overall yardage-wise. As for points per game, we're top 10, 29 points a game. We're right there at 10th. I think it was 10th or 11th right there. But we do lead in first downs. So we have the most first downs for an offense in the NFL. We're just not putting up yards, but we are putting up some points. We are top 5 in rushing. It's just the passing is obviously well down the list. We probably are one of the least teams. Defensively, on the other hand, that's a different story. We're number 1 in yards. As for passing defense, we're still right there at number 4. Best rushing defense. We've allowed the least amount of points at 350. Most sacks in the league. Most fumbles forced in the league. And most interceptions. So this defense is just ridiculous. It's really what has been carrying us here, especially down the stretch in that 4-game win streak. We bring it into the playoffs. I mean, when you have a solid defense like we have going into the playoffs, just don't make mistakes, and you have a really good running game, that is a solution for a Super Bowl. It really is. I know it sounds crazy. We'll see. I don't know. There's a good possibility. We just got to get over that hump of Green Bay in that first game. I think that's going to be a real test if we could just get over that hump there. We have the best red zone percentage defense, only allowing in 64 attempts 22 touchdowns. So when you get in the red zone, more than likely you're going to have to settle for 3. We're not going to let you get a touchdown. So this defense all around is just so good, so impressive. And it's far exceeded the expectations that I thought was going to have for this defense. I thought we would have a solid defense, maybe top 10. Not this defense. We're actually +8 in turnover differential. That never happens. Now, granted, I think we have the most giveaways at 32. We have the most takeaways at 40. 40 takeaways. I mean, 40 takeaways this defense has had this year. It's crazy. So, let's take a look at the Packers here one more time. Rodgers with 42 touchdowns. I mean, that's always something. 17 picks, though. It's a little high for him. Aaron Jones, obviously a solid season. A.J. Dillon adds 10 touchdowns of her own. So they got a nice 1-2 punch. No doubt about it. And they spread the ball around. So I wouldn't say they have a top-tier receiver. They don't. But they spread the ball around. You got Aaron Rodgers. Receivers are just doing enough to get the job done. I mean, we know this team. They're good. You got Rodgers back there. He makes some crazy throws. In this defense, we have had troubles with Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary. Kenny Clark has absolutely destroyed our run game. So I think we're just no reason to really run up the middle against this team. I think that's going to be out of the picture. Try to get to the edge. Do what we can. Because Kenny Clark just destroys. Look at this. Jair Alexander had no picks this year. That's crazy. But, I mean, how many people really test him? That's the real question. But we know what this Green Bay team is. They're outstanding. They're very good. And we come up against this team here in the wild card round. It's going to be a good one. Can we finally take down the Packers for the first time in this franchise when it really matters the most here in the playoffs? Can we get this Lions team a playoff victory, which they haven't had in a long time? And can we get that to that divisional round, which it's the furthest they've ever gotten? We'll see. We'll see here in a minute. I hope you guys watch, but we'll see you in the next one. It'll be coming up here in a few minutes. Hope you guys enjoy, but I will see you then. Have a good one. Bye-bye.